Episode 3 of Unmapped Seoul.
Let's go.
Should I talk about how we're supposed to have a guest today?
You can't
We were supposed to have a guest today. Something came up, so
yeah, but we still would have had to do this episode on our own.
What?
Like this episode, you know how we're filming 2 each.
Yeah, right, yeah, of course, that is true.
But anyways,
consistency is key, guys.
But anyways, it's throwing us off. That's what he's talking about.
yeah.
So we're both off.
Yeah. So anyways, if we're weird today, sorry, but yeah. So one thing we wanted to touch on in the first episode that we didn't get to quite yet. Like we kind of talked about, kind of updating on like what we've been doing recently, and also how our mindsets have changed. But we wanted to talk a little bit about our motivations for this year and just some things we want to do. So I'll let you start off with that.
Okay. Well, I think with Unmapped Seoul, we are doing this podcast, but the whole idea of it doesn't stop at the podcast. We want to make like a whole kind of community, and I think eventually we want that to expand into a collective and a event and all that kind of so. Yeah, basically we want to use this podcast so we can get connected with more and more people, share our story, use this platform to just create just for the sake of creating, and then eventually kind of build like community, collective, and events through that. Do you want to add anything to it?
Yeah, so when you mentioned the word community, right? Like we've obviously talked about this a lot off camera and before now even. But I feel like when I first started thinking of like what community means, I really had no idea, right? And I think through some of the experiences I've had and different, honestly, just being out of like corporate America and being around like even like influencers or just people who are doing stuff outside of that box, that world, like I'm starting to grasp more of what that means and what that could look like. But I wanted to ask you, when you think of community, what does that mean to you? What does that look like and what does that mean to you? Exactly.
I think it's one of the most important things that are going to start coming up. I think as we live in a capitalist society, I think the first thing that they want to do is separate people, make people more individualist, and then through that, they can kind of extract people a little bit better, but not to make it too political. I think community is such a good way for creatives or anyone in general to feel more connected. I think that's what is missing so much from our society nowadays. I think even in Korea there was a lot more community 20 years ago, and I feel like I felt that too. And the same thing in America when we first moved over there as a family. I feel like there was more of like a community vibe, and I think people can't survive on their own. I think capitalist society wants you to think you can survive on your own, and therefore I feel like everyone's fucking burnt out right now and everyone's struggling. But I think humans are meant to work with each other, and through smaller groups eventually kind of create kind of like a give and take, kind of not purely give and take for the sake of getting, but just being able to kind of coexist in a way that's a little more mindful than what we currently have. And I think that's what's missing, and that's what people are yearning for, and they don't even know it because we're not meant to know it, is what I felt like kind of growing up. But anyways, yeah, I think community, so many people are good at certain things but terrible at other things, and I think when you kind of put it that way, one person can be like, I don't know, like a 4 out of 10 because they're a 10 in one area but like a 1 in another area. But I think when you start grouping people together that are good at multiple different things, then you kind of bring everyone's strengths together, and I think that way people can kind of thrive at what they're already good at and get help. Because I think asking for help is such a hard thing to do nowadays, and I think that's what I've been working more towards, and that's what people should kind of be more comfortable doing, but it's hard to do that.
So what does that look like? Maybe if I think about like the people around us. Like Is it kind of like a project based thing or just like events or like what kind of like
I
what
think
comes from that? I guess right.
the way we want to kind of drive it is events because I think there's so many different people that in different fields that kind of can come into kind of the picture that way. One of the friends we've made recently is a pretty big collective through like a certain art music way, and obviously that is no longer there, but they drove that community and collective through a musical project, but we can do it in a more kind of like a encompassing way through events maybe, so we can bring in like more graphic designers, or I still want to do more tattooing, so it could be part of the picture, and then boxing as well like can come into the picture, so not just music but kind of bring creatives from all different like areas, and not just creatives. I think everyone's a creative, but not just creatives, but people from all walks of life into like a way that can empower each other and kind of help each other thrive.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm boring you. No, I'm just kidding.
It's really cold in here. That's why. Clip that. All right.
We're not clipping it.
I yawn because it's cold in here, not because it's boring. Okay, so we've had this conversation a lot, and you've kind of, honestly, kind of now like reiterated what you've told me before, but I've always said to you, oh, it doesn't really click for me, right? But now I get it, right? And I think for me, in my everyday life in Korea, I guess, like I'm just naturally meeting people in different spaces, right? Like, I meet like models, influencers, actresses, people who work in different businesses, right? Like, 2 weekends ago, I met some guys who work for Netflix, right? And I know some people who do casting for commercials and actual like TV shows. I know athletes, like just all these different types of people, DJs, whatever, right? Rappers. And so, like when you mention events, like I think to me that's something I want to try to get more into this year because I've seen like people. We talked before about people in the last episode or first episode, like people who are like part-time creatives, right? So I don't know exactly what their situations are, but I've seen a lot of people who host events here, and it seems like just from what I see on Instagram, like that's like what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, why not? Why not we do that too, right? I think we know like a lot of dope people, and like it seems like fun, right? And like I want to be able to create a space where like-minded people or just people who kind of have the same energy can be around each other, and like you said, kind of bounce off ideas or just talk. Like it's helpful to just talk to people like in that space, right? And that's I think even before I thought of like community or collectives or anything like that, if I go way back to like one of our pilot episodes, right? Like I think that's kind of what we were doing intentionally by like leaving corporate America and trying to make friends who are influencers and whatnot, right? Like we wanted to be around that space and that energy, right? And maybe there were some communities that we tried to be a part of but didn't really vibe with as much, right? So I think kind of just creating our own space is something that I want to make an attempt to do. And I also have some friends here that host events, so we even have some plans now to kind of work together. And one thing that's like divine timing, in my opinion, right, is like boxing is kind of like trying to be popularized right now in Korea, and me being like a foreigner boxer here, that's something I really want to like not take advantage of, but
I mean, take advantage of, but not in like a negative way.
Yeah.
You don't want to extract from it.
Yeah.
But you're helping it build.
I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that, and like I think naturally I already am, right? Like being on I Am Boxer and all these different things, right? But I want to play into that, and like so this year I would really like to have like some hybrid events that incorporate boxing, because it's a trendy thing right now, right? You see it on Instagram, a lot of different people who never tried boxing getting into it. So yeah, I think I like the idea, right? And it's something that I want to focus a lot on, especially like right now I'm kind of preparing for my pro debut. That's kind of like the main thing in my mind and getting steady with my work. But I think in the summer and latter half of the year, like I really would love to have like a few different events, right? Like
Yeah, for
that'd be
sure.
awesome.
Cause like yeah, like to just continue off that, I feel like there's so many talented and skilled people that seem miserable because they have to do other stuff, and I feel like when you kind of create like a space for everyone to be themselves and kind of bring in what they're good at, I think that could really help a lot of people out, not just us. And kind of off topic, but kind of wanted to ask you about your boxing kind of
Yeah.
situation. Obviously, I feel like you've kind of made a name for yourself, but you haven't had your pro debut yet.
Yeah.
And I think I was just thinking about this randomly, but how do you think that attention is negative right now? As in, because people think you're such a good boxer,
Uh,
they don't want to fight you because it's your debut match, and if they win, it doesn't look that great for them. But if they lose, that will make them look terrible.
yeah.
So, like, what do you think about the attention you've been getting, and how do you want to navigate that in terms of, I guess, your boxing career here?
That's a good question. Um, I think in terms of my actually having my pro debut, it's definitely a negative thing. So I guess background on that, right? This year I've had initially I had a plan February 28th, which was a week ago, last weekend, to have my pro debut, but there were like three different guys that were asked to fight with me, and they all declined it. Um, and where that comes from is I think people, I guess because of just me naturally just boxing here, people have seen me on YouTube and Instagram, not even like my content, just seen me on there, like people post me or whatever. And maybe, I guess because I do perform well pretty much every time when I spar, um, there's kind of an image of me being like a dangerous fighter, right? I think the perceptive from Koreans is there's two things. One thing I actually don't like at all, but the other thing, one thing I don't like at all, and I understand it, but I don't like it. And the other part is, I just don't feel myself that way. So the first one, which is a little more lighthearted, I'll say is they see me as like a knockout artist, right? And that's because I did a like kind of amateur tournament, and I had two matches and I got two knockouts right in there. So that was like the most like viral clip of me that went on Instagram, and so a lot of people saw that, and the comments were just like he should be pro, like this and that, right? So I think people think that the thing about my debut is like it's a 4 round fight, right? My first fight. So generally, my debut would be against someone else who's having their pro debut. So no one wants to have like a hard fight for their debut, me included. I don't want that either, right? So I think someone with for their debut, they don't want to fight me, right? That's just not what they want to do. People who do want to fight me or would fight me are probably people with 5 or more fights, and maybe they're fighting like 8 round or 10 round fights now. But I'm it's my debut, so that doesn't really
Oh, you
match up,
can't
right?
do more than
You
4?
can. So actually, right now there is one guy that I'm talking to about fighting because he just this guy is like he's fought a lot of good fighters, right? And for him, it's kind of it seems like it's more about just fighting. Like he doesn't care like who he fights. He just wants to fight good people. It's about just the experience. So I respect him for that.
Yeah.
But he actually his last like 3 fights were like a 10 rounder, like 8 rounder, 6 rounder. So if I debut against him, which I want to do,
Yeah.
because he has 15 matches, right? It would probably be a 6 round fight,
Uh-huh.
not 4 round.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but in that case, I'm okay with that. Like that'd be
Okay.
chill. So I'm hoping that comes through because in April 12th, the next match I'm trying to get is a in Daegu, right? And
Oh, yeah.
it'd be on a Sunday, and that weekend is like a sports festival.
So
So they have like boxing, kickboxing, they have fitness competitions, Miss Korea tournament there, like dog racing, like they have all this different stuff. Like I think it'd be super sick to fight that weekend. So I'm hoping this comes through because there is one guy, and he actually is from Daegu. So it's like you said. Your question was like, is it negative? It is, but I still think things align in a good way. So I'm really hoping this works out because it's actually like a perfect like opportunity. I think it sounds like a lot of fun. And the other side of it that is like that I don't like the way that Koreans view me as a boxer is like almost just like a race thing, right? Like they see me as like a black American boxer, which I am, right? It's in my style. You're like, yeah, duh. But the thing is, they see it as, and we've talked about this before, but they just think like, oh, he's a black boxer, like he's strong, like I don't want to fight him, right? That's how they view me, right? So it's like, I'm not gonna say like they're intimidated, but they are scared. But like, they just like think that black boxers are too strong and whatever, like just genetically superior in boxing. A lot of people think that, right? So, like I hear these type of things, like so.
Them being like, oh, it must be easier for you.
Exactly.
Like you don't need to train that much, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I do, and so I mean, personally, I mean there is some truth to that, I would say, but at the same time, like if you train hard, like it's a boxing is a sport, right? Like if you train hard, then you can overcome whatever genetic gap you may think there is, right, or whatever, right? And it's not. I'm not like freaking Floyd Mayweather, bro. Like I'm not like I'm genuinely not like I think I'm a good boxer, but I'm not like levels above everyone in Korea. Like that's not what this is, right?
Yeah,
it's not that.
sure.
It's just like this way I'm viewed.
Yeah,
that's what it is. So
for sure.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of frustrating. Like I really want to have a match, but hopefully this match in April comes through. So that would be awesome.
Yeah, and you want to do a few other things around your first pro match debut. So I think that would be sick if you can do it at a big festival in Daegu, for sure.
Oh yeah. It would be even better because I mean, like the match I would have had in February would have been like a good local event. Like friends would come, but if it's in Daegu, like during this festival, it'd be like a way bigger thing. So along with that, right? Like as I'm waiting to do my debut, I've also through my boxing coaching work, I've going back to community, right? Even yesterday, right? We had a event that I got tied into and like last minute, right? But it's literally like a boxing community, right? It's just people who do boxing for like as a hobby, I guess. But they go around to different gyms and train, like do like special like workshops or one day classes at different gyms, right?
It was.
Yeah, so they came to a gym that I'm affiliated with yesterday. So we had like two pro coaches. Another pro fighter was there too, who's like a champion right now, and then another coach who led the class. So these people get to do like a unique like class experience, like the style of our coaching, right? And also get to work out with like professional boxing athletes that otherwise they wouldn't probably meet, right?
Yep.
And we also did like sparring and just like a bunch of like fun stuff, like working out together, sparring. Like it was really fun. So
the dude bowing after getting hit by you was hilarious on your story.
Wait, which one? What?
You just posted it.
Oh yeah.
He got hit by 1, 2, and he was like,
yeah. He respected that last two. I'll show the clip.
So funny.
But even at like in that space, right? There was like pro boxers such as myself and the other like people leading the class. But then I remember one guy I met, like he was good at boxing. I was like, "Yo, you're good. Like, are you not a pro fighter?" He's like, "Oh no, I'm a firefighter." I was like, "Oh, dope! Like,
that's cool."
I have not met a firefighter in Korea, right?
Yeah.
But and then other people were maybe like they're office workers or just other things, right? But it was cool, like just having people come together through boxing and just share like this experience, right? And everyone was taking pictures. It was like a really good time, actually. So when we speak about community, like doing events like that or being a part of events like that is something I've never done before.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Like it's just like I mentioned, like kind of having people, bringing people together through a common interest and kind of like sharing the same energy and vibe in a certain space, right? So I want to do more things like that through boxing, actually. Like I had another event I like kind of threw together. Like there's some girls that I know in Korea, foreigner girls who were kind of looking for like sparring and stuff. And it's really hard to find like sparring for girls just in general. Because a lot of the girls who do boxing don't really spar. They just like
they just
train.
do it as sports.
Yeah, they're just trying to lose weight and stuff. And like, also this girl is black, so she gets the same stereotypes that are placed on me that I just talked about being placed on me.
Huh? Would you fight Alice?
So yeah, Alice doesn't really spar 'cause she's
Oh.
a model. So she
fair.
doesn't really want to get her face like scratched up. So.
Also makes sense.
So
I just feel like Alice would be really good.
yeah, so I actually tried to put that together too, actually. But anyway, so people are. I think this girl like she has trouble getting sparring, but yeah, I knew like one girl, the girl you saw I posted the reel with,
Yeah.
the one I was sparring, and I was like, oh yeah, she's like a actress, but she boxes, right? And like she spars and like does like little competitions. So I like got them together, like at one of the gyms I'm affiliated with. Like got them together, like they sparred, then also sparred a girl, and then also this other girl's like boyfriend, and so like it's like it was just like a whole like fun little thing, and they were really appreciative that I like put it together. It was like 5 people, right? But it was like kind of a unique experience. So
Yeah.
I want to kind of bridge like as a foreigner, I have like these unique connections with foreigners, but I also can speak Korean and I know like people in the Korean boxing space. So moving forward, I want to kind of build this bridge between like foreigners and Koreans through boxing. Maybe have like events where we can kind
I mean, this is the whole idea of the community. I keep
Exactly,
telling you
yeah,
about,
yeah.
you know, like bringing people together with like a shared interest and empowering each other through different ways of contributing. Like we're just connecting the dots with people that we already know, and like the strengths that they already have and what you know that you can just bring together. Because I think I'm trying to do that with the girls that we've been learning how to DJ, like trying to throw like a little event there where we're all just gonna DJ together and stuff like that. So I think community.
Yeah, I think so when I think of community, like you just mentioned, connecting the dots with people that we know and their strengths and just making things bigger is something I really want to do this year. Like, because there's so many different like things that run through my head, and like even the process of doing that itself is new to me and you as well, right?
Yep. For sure.
But we also have people that are like creative directors that we know and stuff, right? And that's what they do, right? So it'll be a learning process, but I think if we can like get into that, like just the
because I
connections
think
we
that's
have.
our strength because we have so many different avenues of understanding and different lanes that we've already been in. Like we talked about last episode, so many lives we've already lived. So being able to kind of understand and be empathetic with certain people in different genres and areas, I think that's how we start connecting the dots and kind of empower each other. Should we try to figure out a way to wrap up the first episode? We're like 22 minutes in.
Yeah, I think that's...
Is that good enough?
Yeah.
All right.
No, that is not how we're wrapping up this. Okay, whatever. We're going to end it like that. I'm not cutting any of that out.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, we wanted to recap, based off the first episode, we wanted to recap our motivations and some plans, trying to manifest some things this year. So that's where we're trying to go. So stay tuned and see what happens.
Creative directors, let's go.
Creative directors, yeah. I want to be a pro boxing creative director by the end of the year. Like, yeah. All right. See you guys.